Ever feel like you're just building the same kit over and over and over again? I feel ya. When I'm not filming Gundam kits, I'm building them. Countless hours every week, snipping and snapping like some kind of tiny robot production line of one. So I know sometimes Gunpla builds can get a bit samey, a bit repetitive, dare I say it, a bit boring, leaving you just wanting to chase that feeling you got when you built your very first Gunpla, and that awesome feeling you get when you snap that final piece on and it's complete. Does it sometimes feel like you'll never feel that way ever again? Don't worry, those feelings of plastic model excitement are still there, deep down inside your soul like some kind of RPG dungeon? Just waiting for that next raid. Raid is a mobile RPG done right. Raid is one of the top 3 ranked RPGs on the Google Play Store, and it's recently been nominated as a finalist for Google Play's Best of 2019's User Choice Award. If that's not enough, this game is crazy popular with 15 million downloads in the last 6 months. Link in the description, by the way. So what is Raid? It's an epic dark fantasy done right. A hero collection turn-based game with over 400 champions for you to collect and personally customize. And now, Christmas is coming to Raid. Check out those super cool Christmas vibe champions that are already in the game. Sir Nicholas, Rain Beast, Frostbringer, and Jingle Hunter? Man, they're really keeping that Christmas theme going with abilities like Mistletoe and Jacked Frost. There's a new fusion event for Christmas that is only available for the next couple of weeks. You can combine a few champions and get a new Christmas-looking champion, Tormin the Cold. And of course the best part, it's free to play. You can find me in the game under the nick Mecha Gaikotsu, believe it or not. So what are you waiting for? Go to the video description, click on the special links, and if you're a new player you will get 100,000 silver, 2 clan boss keys, 10 mystery shards, and 1 free champion, Executioner. Just look at that badass champion they're giving you for free. All this treasure will be waiting for you here, and hurry up, these rewards are relevant for 30 days. Anyway, let's get counting down those kits. At number 10, and when it comes to unique master grade builds, nothing is quite as unique as the ball. Didn't necessarily say they were good builds, did I? Because this is a fantastic build. This right here is the god of Gunpla. For some reason. The master grade ball is definitely one of those kits that makes you wonder, why? There's so many mobile suits that really do deserve a master grade that don't have one, and we got the ball. But I will mention, this is a really fun and super detailed build. This thing is just downright fun and awesome for on your desk. If you love 1/100 scale, like I do, this is one for you. But if you do feel this one right here is a bit on the boring side, there's always the Polypod ball. This is premium Bandai, so it is a little bit hard to get. If you're wondering about that review, maybe. But it is awesome. It's essentially the ball on some awesomely articulated huge legs in a really cool militaristic green. Honestly, I love this thing, and I think you will too. Anyway, let's continue. So rolling on into number 9 on this list, and I will mention that not everything on this list is a single kit. It's actually a grouping of kits, and this time what I'm talking about is early real grades. And what I actually mean by early real grades, it's real grades that came before the Tallgeese, Sazabi, Crossbone, and the new Gundam. Those are more like mini master grades in a way. So the build is somewhat familiar, just on a smaller, awesome scale. What I mean by early real grades is the ones that had a pre-assembled inner frame on a runner that you can just snip out and put together. The engineering on these things is crazy, but sadly, they do have what I refer to as early real grade syndrome. So they're awesome out of the box straight away, but because of the design of the pre-built inner frames these guys have, they do loosen up over time and can become a bit of a headache. But they still do have a super unique build. You can snip out that inner frame, build it, and then just build all the parts onto it. It is unique, it is fun, but some of them don't age that well. If I was to recommend 2 early real grades to you, it would be the Quanta and the Gundam 00. Both awesome kits, both with a pre-built internal frame. And it's not entirely pre-built, it's just super easy to assemble. But anyway, let's continue. So not necessarily Gunpla per se is Bandai's 30-minute mission line of kits. So you might be like, this is a Gunpla, get the fuck... No! But hold on, listen to me just for a second. These things right here are Gunpla pretty much in everything but name. The shoulder joints, the waist joints, the polycap joints, etc. are all 100% compatible with modern high-grade Gunpla. The Alto has that Universal Century Federation feel, and the Portanova has that Universal Century Xeon feel. They do come in a little bit smaller than your standard Gunpla, but once again, 100% compatible. Like the name suggests, 30-minute mission kits are super fast to build and come in around the 30-minute mark. If you build them really quick, you might get them in at the 20-minute mark, but of course with any build, if you're building it for the first time, relax, slow down, and enjoy it. These kits are so well designed that after building your first one, you won't even need the manual anymore. Just have this one single little diagram, and you can build it directly from there. These are for building kits en masse. You can build an army of these in pretty much no time. So if you are bored with standard high-grade Gunpla, this is a line of kits I highly recommend that will fit right in with your collection. Like I mentioned, in this countdown we're going to have some lines of kits, not necessarily just single models. And what I'm going to recommend next is the Iron-Blooded Orphans line of high grades. If you've never built one of these, it's past due time that you do. This is the only line of high-grade Gunpla that has full inner frames for the model kits. Also, for the most part, besides some of the crappier kits in the line, these are all compatible with each other. Like, the level of compatibility in this line with kits from this line is like nothing Bandai has done before. On top of that, the general price zone of these kits is quite low. That's if you can still get your hands on them. These kits are incredibly fun, incredibly simple, and incredibly fast to build. And the actual concept of a high grade with a full inner frame is fantastic. I love these kits to bits, and I'm so happy that we're getting the Gundam Hajiroboshi very soon in the future. So once again, if you've never tried this high grade line of kits, I highly recommend that you do, because before these, I had absolutely zero interest in high grades whatsoever, and these won me over. And just to throw out a couple of recommendations, if you're thinking of grabbing some, I would recommend the high grade Gundam Barbatos Lupus, Gundam Vidar, Gundam Kimaris Vidar. Who am I kidding? They're all awesome besides this dud. Anyway, let's continue. If you're like me, 1/100 is where your heart is. Master grades are still my #1 favorite grade. I love the size, they're not too big, they're not too small, I like the detail, and I like the general availability of kits. For me, they're just a perfect storm of plastic awesomeness. But if you have not yet wandered into high-resolution territory, I think now is the perfect time to do so. The first few kits in the high-resolution line are a bit on the not quite ready sort of side of things. But recent releases like the Astray and the God Gundam are absolutely awesome, and I recommend the God Gundam. If you've never built a high-resolution kit, essentially the breakdown to these is they're a figure on the inside and a model kit on the outside. The entire inner structure of these kits is a figure, so that means they can actually do things a model kit can never do. Because they have screws, die-cast parts, etc., theoretically, these should be a much more sturdier, more articulated kit. And that definitely goes for the recent releases. On top of that, all of these kits feature somewhat of a redesign, usually to make them look a little bit fancier, glitzier, edgier, and in general, cooler. It pretty much goes without saying that compared to a master grade, the build is completely different. Out of the box, you just pull out that figure, it's ready to go. You can pose it, play with it, do all sorts of things with it. Because the whole functional aspect of the kit is already pre-done for you in that inner frame, the build is actually quite quick. These come together extremely quick. The newer kits feature a lot of undergating, so there isn't much cleanup to do at all, and the finished product looks fantastic. Once again, I highly recommend the Astray and the God Gundam, and everything before that, you might want to give a miss. So once again, if you love 1/100 kits and want something a little bit different, you gotta try these out. When it comes to unique mobile suit designs, there's nothing quite like Turn A Gundam. Except, I guess, G Gundam, but I don't we're ever gonna get Tequila Gundam or that windmill anytime soon, but we're gonna have to make do with the Turn X. Without a single doubt, the Master Grade Turn X is one of the oddest mobile suits I have ever built. Just on looking at this, you can see that this is like nothing else. It's asymmetrical, it's very uniquely designed, it separates into a whole bunch of pieces, and it's got what looks like a stained glass window in its chest. Honestly, it's this kit right here and the kit that's at number 1 that made me decide to make this list. Everything about this build is unique. The 2 legs are different, the 2 arms are different, the cockpit's in the head, it's got a big old claw with awesome articulation, and all of the weapons and accessories are just downright bizarre. This is one of those mobile suits that has such a unique design that I'm surprised it got a master grade model kit at all, but I can say, for definite, I'm super happy that it did. This is one of my favorite odd master grades. On the whole, besides being a unique look, a unique build, it's a solid master grade that I would recommend to anyone. If you like Turn A, or if you want something a little bit different, you gotta get yourself a master grade Turn X. We've all been there, and you know this feeling, when you've got one leg complete and you have to do it all over again for the second leg. I call this the second leg sadness situation. I used to find this a lot more in the past with kits like older perfect grades or older master grades because you used to build the legs separately. Now it's more of a case that you build both legs in tandem and then towards the end just build different parts for both to make them a left leg or a right leg. But recently I got this feeling again when I decided to delve a little bit deeper into the older master grade catalog. And all I can say is, avoid the master grade EZ8. It's a tedious build, it's boring, and the payoff is not worth it. I love the EZ8, but this kit blows. So how do you avoid second leg sadness situation? It's simple, build a kit that has no legs. Introducing the master grade Deep Striker. This right here is a master grade unlike any other. Well, I guess it's kind of like the XS Gundam because it uses a lot of parts from that, but in general, it's like nothing else. It's big, it's awesome, it's got a ginormous cannon on its shoulder, and it's got no legs. If you feel like you've built absolutely everything and want something completely different, this is definitely something you should try out. I will mention though that the finished model kit doesn't really do all that much, it's just a piece of big old shelf candy, which it is fantastic at being. But for me, this kit is all about the build. It's a fun build, and what you get looks pretty damn badass. So I guess to sum it up, it's a super fun, unique build, it'll take you quite a while, it doesn't really move at all when it's finished, and it's got no second leg sadness situation. On to the next one. When it comes to a list about unique builds, I never thought I'd be mentioning anything from Gundam Build Divers. But honestly, I was absolutely sucker punched by the high grade Earth 3 Gundam. This is a build unlike anything you've ever done in high grade because you build a tiny little Gundam first and then build all the armor secondly. The core Gundam is one of the most unique things that has ever happened to high grade. For something so small and, frankly, weird looking, this thing is awesome and one of my favorite things to have happened this year to Gunpla. I have built this kit 3 times with another one on the way, and I still do enjoy the build, especially of the little core Gundam. You build it up really quick, you have it finished, and then it's just standing there with you, keeping you company, while you build up the armor for either on the planet system or for lashing onto the core Gundam. On top of that, for a Build Divers kit, this is top-notch quality, so much so that it netted a gold tier from me. No matter what you think of the anime, of Build Divers, or just the Build franchise in general, the high-grade Earth 3, V2, and Mars are super unique, with Earth 3 still to me the best of the bunch. And all I can say is, if you haven't tried them out, I recommend that you do. Just for that awesome itty-bitty tiny core Gundam. Once every now and then, and usually yearly about this time of year, December-ish, Bandai loves to flex its model kit designing prowess. And that is exactly what they did with the perfect grade XCS, still to this day one of my top 5 kits. The build of this thing is so awesome, so enjoyable, and so unique, but you don't have to sit here and listen to my opinion on it. You can listen to my opinion on it. My opinion on it 2 years ago, that is. First off with this kit, I have to mention that the build is fantastic. It's so enjoyable. You build the inner frame first, then add the armor, just like with the 1/100 IBO kits. This really breaks up the tedium of the build, and you also get to admire that awesome looking inner frame. In the lightning mode, of course, you have to wire in all the wires while you're building the inner frame. Personally, I found this much easier than with the perfect grade Unicorn. That I found a bit awkward, not here though. All the wires fit nice and neatly between all the parts, and less trying to weave them into awkward places like with the perfect grade Unicorn. All the light piping parts are made this nice, soft, blue plastic, and they just hug up neatly to the LEDs, And the only part I found a little bit awkward was trying to connect these parts up here on the shoulders, but besides that, the LED kit is simple to set up. However, on the GN condensers we do have these stickers, and they look great, but these did cause me a little bit of trouble. Static makes them move around towards the plastic, which makes them hard to stick, and when you do manage to get them down, there is the danger of air bubbles underneath, so be warned. As well as those, we've got these little silver stickers which stick on for the light piping parts, and they stick on in there pretty easily. The next stage of the build is adding the armor, and once that's added on there, this thing looks absolutely mind-blowing. So essentially, just to sum it up, Bandai took everything they knew about model kit designing, everything they've tried out, and married it all together into one awesome Gunpla. The lighting version of this kit features a better LED system than what we saw, with the perfect grade unicorn, and also adapts in some of the transformation gimmicks. The build is super easy and super enjoyable. You build the inner frame first, add in all those LEDs during that build, and then add all the armor on afterwards. Building this kit really does feel like an event, and if you've never given it a go, I highly recommend that you do, and it is worth every penny. So awesome. So flexing its awesome unique design at number 1, literally, and pretty much the reason I decided to make this list, is the high-grade G40 Gundam. That is the high-grade Gundam industrial design version. This is a high-grade like no other, and probably like no other that will ever come out. This is built just for the sake of articulation and articulation only. On top of that, it does have a fairly interesting redesign of the old Oryx 78-2 look. But the bottom line about this kit is it doesn't build like any kit whatsoever, like nothing I have ever seen before. This is super unique. At the same time, it is deceptively simple. This build doesn't feature any polycaps in any of the joints, and all of the joints are very unique, like nothing on any other high grade before. Actually, nothing like anything on any Gunpla before. We've got tons of ball joints where ball joints have never been seen before. We've got one crazy giggity goo. Some joints, like the ankles and the shoulder, it's actually hard to count how many points of articulation there actually is. And of course, it's got the patented butt knee. If you feel like you've built everything Gundam, until you've built this kit right here, you have not. I know right now it is pretty much sold out everywhere at the time of this video, but I did read online that it may be coming out again, just not in the same collector's box with that collector's booklet. So here's hoping if you didn't get your hands on the first run, there will be a second run sometime in the future. And here's even hoping harder that they make the Zaku. But anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. If you've built a unique Gunpla that was not mentioned in this list, drop it down there in the comments for everyone to try out, me included. Once again, thank you so much to Raid for sponsoring this video. And the most important thing of all, make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time.